We are live. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I am your host, Blake Ruffino. This is Are You Serious Sports. We hope that you guys are making it a good one. We know that we are as well, literally, and not making it up tonight. A huge show in store for you tonight. We're back, baby.
We're back.
Mike Jones Jr. Who joins us at 7:50. But before that, we'll get to our good friend, Carter the Power Bryant. So a full and a hot list of big names with Carter the Power Bryant and Mike Jones Jr., who will be joining us. So a lot of fun here tonight with two of my more favorite people that have any kind of relation to LSU. Also, we do, after the show, there will be a game. I think it's game 3 of the NBA Finals. Golden State in 5. Nah, I think Boston bounces back tonight and they get the win. But nevertheless, it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. Has Brian Kelly turned or is Brian Kelly starting to turn a page in recruiting? Desmond Ricks, some people believe the corner that in this upcoming recruiting class, some believe to be the number 1 overall corner and player in the country. It's looking good in purple and gold, y'all. Oh, and then now there's some rumors about another safety that LSU's going after, a 4-star safety from Zachary and Kylan Jackson. Oh, my God. Brian Kelly can't recruit out inside the state. Oh, my God. Come on, man. Come on, man. So we'll talk about a little bit about that. Can Brian Kelly do something that some thought he couldn't? Every single time. I'm going to be calm, cool, and collected here tonight. But are we starting to see the philosophy of what he's doing? You know, there's an old saying, 2 bulls were up on a hill, the Papa Bull and the Baby Bull. Maybe the Baby Bull's not a good analogy, but some of you know that story. Why run when you can walk and do the same thing accomplished, and one of them is a little bit better? So nevertheless, I think we're starting to see the philosophy of what Brian Kelly's doing. We will talk about that here tonight. So look, I was going to hit it with a Rufino's rants, but I decided I think I'm going to just stay calm, stay relaxed. Don't say, just be cool. Let's talk about this thing. Get to a lot of comments before we get to our 2 amazing guests, starting at 7:30 with Carter, the Power Bryant. No, we are not. Let's see. Doug Knows on YouTube says that guy from 3 to 6 was crying about LSU boosters not being ready for NIL again. Well, let's talk about it. I'm not going to talk about the man, the individual, the person. Let's talk about it. I'll give you my opinion, and we'll go from there. So nevertheless, we'll do it. Brad Wentz says, sorry for the Whataburger got us in Mississippi. Sorry, but the Whataburger got us in Mississippi. Oh, I get what he's saying. Chad Briscoe says, RELAX. Relax. Agreed. Whoa. Dylan Smith off the top rope, $100 super chat. Super chats are open. Dylan are you enrolling in precious money now? I mean, I appreciate it, my guy. I appreciate it. Paul on YouTube, my good buddy Paul says, Balake, what? Calm? We're going to be calm. We're going to be cool. We're going to be collected. I'm told I yell too much. I don't care what people think. Kenny Fudge says, neuter Damers still crying. Seems like they are. We'll talk about that a little bit too. Some news came out today about Dante Moore. We'll talk about that a little bit more too. Chance Badman says, my mind is still on baseball. Damn USM. Yeah, beer doesn't really taste the same. I like to crack open a nice cold, I'm talking about ice cold Miller Lite. They don't taste the same. But shout out to Dylan Cruz and Trey Morgan for being selected on the Collegiate All-Team USA. So big for them. I wonder why they didn't go get anybody out of the bullpen. Oh, wait. Too soon? Guys, is it too soon? Zach, is it too soon? Okay. All right. Dandy Thompson on Facebook says Desmond Ricks was a monster. Yeah, no, at least to my knowledge, no relation to Eli Ricks, but a monster corner. And look, you had 247 from their main account pushing Desmond Ricks. You know, it could be a little bit of a lean. We'll talk about it, though. I promise you. Ryan Amanda Gidry says, bad baby, bad baby, bad baby. I came up with this new song. Baby, 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 no. People said I got to get off the hoochie coochie. Aunt Marshall says, let's go, hashtag TPI, the People's Insider. I appreciate that. LGC says, solid lineup tonight. It is. It certainly is. Nurse Court's in the building on YouTube. She says, hashtag metaverse or bust. Yeah, we got on this wild conversation last night. Zach, do you know what the metaverse is? Talking to our producer, Zach. Do you know what the metaverse is? I got to be honest, guys. I have no idea. I literally have no idea really what the metaverse is. Like, if you get shot in the metaverse, you can get you're shot in real life or something. I don't really know. It made me think about, though, if I get shot in the metaverse, can't you never mind. I'm not going there. I'm not going there. But would I be, could I be 50 Cent in the metaverse? Because I've been hit with a few shells, but I don't walk with a limp. Some of you from the island of Caucasity won't understand that reference, but nevertheless. The Golden Boot Podcast, I guess this is Pooh Bear. I don't know where Pooh Bear is. He ghosted us. Ever since I can remember, he's been popping his collar, but he's not popping his collar in the show. He says, hashtag make small podcasts great again. Yeah, it's funny. You get a part of a DM group and you tell somebody something, and they don't believe you. The Golden Boot Pod says, shout out to everyone in the chats. There's Pooh Bear. Dylan says $100 is pocket change to pressure. Well, I appreciate it, man. $100. That's, as Ryan would say here, it's meta money. It is. We will not be going around the SEC this week, by the way. We've been doing around the SEC. I got two humongous guests lined up for next week, though, like massive guests for next week. So Monday and I think Thursday as we go around the SEC. We're making moves. They see me rolling. They hating, patrolling. They trying to catch me riding dirty. Lee Treg on Facebook says, what's up, Blake? It's been a while, brother. Yeah, where have you guys been, man? Where have you guys been? The Tigers Avenue podcast, that would be Zach. He says, is it Marvel related? I don't know. But bring back Robert Downey Jr., damn it. Bring back Robert Downing Jr. Okay, let's get this thing rolling, though. Everybody on Facebook, do us a favor by hitting the like and share. So many of you watching. Guys, I can see the views and how many of you are watching. I can see in an hour-long show that majority of you are listening to the show for over 35 minutes. 35 minutes! That means that at least 1,000 of you will listen to this in the beginning. Do us a favor. Hit the like and share. Everybody on Facebook right now, hit that like and share to those Facebook groups. If you're listening to us on YouTube, I see, Zach, that people like to be competitive and like to do their show times now during ours because we're exploding. We're coming. We're coming for you. Don't think I don't notice you. But nevertheless, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell if you're listening to us on XM Radio or you're listening to us on the audio podcast platforms, wherever you listen to podcasts. Rate, review, subscribe there as well. We would greatly, greatly appreciate it. All right. Time to pay some bills. I lied. I can't stay calm. Let's talk about GM Varno and Sons of Bet Online. We'll be back in a minute 20. Our partners over at BetOnline continue to be the number one source for all of your betting needs and sports info. Find all the latest sports developments, including updated odds on the NBA playoffs, fights, and even next season's futures. And don't forget that the MLB is back as well. Who are you picking to win the World Series? BetOnline is your continued source for all of your sports wagering needs, including live betting and your favorite Vegas casino and poker games. It's easy to get started, so head on over to their website. Use betonline.ag. Use that promo code BELIEVE. That's BLEAV. That's BLEAV to receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. That's betonline.ag. Betonline.ag. With over 65 years of experience, nobody is better equipped to service in your vehicle than GM Varnado & Sons. RV repair, big rig overhauls, motorhome chassis, routine maintenance, tire rotations, tire sales. No job is too big or too small over at GM. If you break down the side of the road in the greater Baton Rouge area, they will come and get you. And the best thing about that is that they can come and get you, and then they can bring your vehicle back to their shop and start the repairs right then. Again, GM Varnado & Sons. Go see them over at 2500 Fuller Boulevard. Give them a call at 225-664-9992. 225-664-9992. Tell them your good friend Blake Ruffino sent you on by. Can't stay calm. I want to stay calm. I'm going to try everything I can to stay calm. Pooh Bear says, the man been holding me down. I just want a podcast, damn it. You got to let me fly. Hashtag free Pooh Bear. Yeah, Pooh Bear, he'll be back soon. Paul says, 75 watching on YouTube, only 20 likes. Don't be that guy. Yeah, man, it helps us out a lot, man. I don't ask for anything. I will be soon, though. I will be soon. Hopefully all of you subscribe there as well. You'll see when maybe about a week or 2 weeks. But nevertheless, you'll see. All right, let's get to it. Let's get this thing rolling, y'all. If you missed it today, throughout the day, there's been some recruiting news, whether it be, Kylan Jackson, the safety out in Zachary. Kind of talked about that and hinted about that all day yesterday and last night on the show. Or Dante Moore. CJ Carr, is he going to reclassify? Looks like he's committing to Notre Dame. He's a Michigan legacy, grandfather, I believe. Lloyd Carr, whatever. Lloyd Carr was the head coach in Michigan. It doesn't look like he's going to Michigan. Looks like he's going to Notre Dame. Does that make Dante Moore for LSU? But let me ask y'all a question. And look, I think that recruiting is about to heat up. I think it is the hot topic in football right now. We're going to be talking about football for the next 3 months. But right now, the hottest topic, without a shadow of a doubt, is Brian Kelly in this recruiting class. Guys, the number one player, some believe, Desmond Ricks, the corner, is on your campus and wants to come to LSU. At least that's how he's portraying it to 247 Sports. I'm just pretty much telling you what the man's saying. Do I think he's coming? Do I know he's coming? No idea. It's too early in the process for me to determine. It doesn't really matter, though, to me, the players that they're necessarily talking about. Now, it does to some extent, but not really. Because I look at this and I ask myself the question, Blake, what really is getting these kids here? I hope you ask yourself the same question. Why is Kylan Jackson trending to LSU? Why is Sheldon Sampson trending to LSU? Why is Desmond Ricks, Dante Moore, some of these guys looking like they may be trending to LSU? One thing that I think that we all know, though. LSU's playing the game. Legislation's going to be passed. I don't even really want to get into the NIL conversation again tonight. Now, some people freaking out about it. I understand it. I get it. You don't know what you don't know. Maybe you're in the game. Maybe you're not. Maybe you want to freak out because you don't have anything to talk about because we're so far away from the football season. You got to find content. I get it. Guys, we're so far away from this. But I think that the biggest thing for me, I think we're starting to see the philosophy of Brian Kelly. we're going to have to learn a lot about him and his staff and the way that he operates. Guys, he's going to be here for a little bit of a minute. He's not going to coach next year, go 5-7, and we fire him. It's not going to happen like that. We're not going to owe the man $90 million guaranteed or $80 million guaranteed at the end of next season and tell him to go pack his bags and walk. It's not going to happen. We're having to relearn a lot of things. A lot of things that were translated and could be translated from Ed Orgeron, from Les Miles. And yes, some of us remember from Nick Saban, maybe Brian Kelly, but the philosophy is different. That's the only thing. And if you watch Brian Kelly, and you hear him speak over and over and over and over and over again, the biggest thing that he talks about is recruiting the state of Louisiana. Did you think that he didn't have a plan? Now, we can continue to talk about this. It is what it is. But I maybe put some feelers out there to some high school coaches, to some college coaches. What's going on? What are you hearing? I don't want to continue to repeat myself, but it comes up every single day, especially when you see deals like C.J. Stroud, the Ohio State quarterback, getting a Bentley for $150,000 or the value of $150,000. By the way, it's a rental. Pretty much. It's a rental. It's a lease. I know one LSU player right now driving in a brand new car, and I know the guy that paid the cash for it. Anyway, I'm talking about legitimately pulled out a wad of fat stacks of mad cash and paid it. It's comical to me sometimes. At this point, it's a little comical to me. You don't get to the playoffs multiple times. You don't get to be the winningest coach in Notre Dame history and you not know what you're doing. A lot of people, I'll give this comparison, right? Dabo Swinney, okay? Urban Meyer, without the NFL and without sticking his pinky or in his thumb up a blonde woman's rear end at a nightclub. Steve Spurrier, Bear Bryant, Nick Saban, Pete Carroll. I really don't care what coach that you really pick out. They're really good coaches. They're really good coaches. Not the one-hit wonders, not the one guys. They're really good coaches. Guys, they stand out. Their philosophy stands out. You can make Dabo jokes all the live long day. All the live long day. Guys, their schedule is easy as hell next year. I'm going to make, Zach, I'm going to, on June the 8th, 2022, of the year of our Lord Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior, I'm going to make this prediction. Dabo's getting back to the playoff. Clemson's getting back to the playoff. You know why? Because good coaches do really good things. Brian Kelly is one of them. Now, it seems repetitive. We talk about it repetitive, but let's take a look behind the curtain. Like, it's very tough for me to sit here and talk to you because, guys, quite honestly, our episodes, our podcast reaches about 15 to 20,000 people every single night. Okay? With that being said, it's very tough for me to sit here in my new studio and we're building things and to be able to look, I'm not literally looking you in the face, but you can see me. I can't see you. Nevertheless, it's really difficult for me to look in this camera and tell you that LSU's behind. Like, dog, where? Are they behind on your timeline? Money being raised and money switching hands and plans that need to be put in place. Guys, let me tell you something. Boosters don't know how to go after a recruit. And what if the recruit that they want to sign an NIL deal, Brian Kelly doesn't want? You have to be, wait for it, aligned. Some of you listen to the audio podcast and listen to us on XM don't see the little smirk on my face. You have to be aligned. Say what you want, guys. Say what you want. Do you think the man sitting in his Eiffel Tower drinking Mai Tais and collecting $100 million? Do you really think that's going on? Yeah, guys, he's not working. Scott Woodward hired the wrong guy. He hadn't coached a game yet. He hired the wrong guy. He's doing absolutely no work. Desmond Rick's on campus. Colin Jackson's making unofficial visits. Derek Williams. By the way, Derek Williams, the all-pro safety, the 5-star safety, made an unofficial visit this week or today that nobody talked about. Oh, Blake, it's a Bama race. LSU can't do anything. Come on, guys. Come on, guys. Did you really think that LSU would let Derek Williams be recruited by Alabama and not fight back? Funny, though. It's funny. Hey, Zach, where's Corey Raymond from? Okay, I'm getting it in my ear now. Oh, Westgate. Oh, he went to Westgate. Hey, where's Derek Williams from? Getting it in my ear here. Oh, Westgate. Oh, he doesn't even have a visit lined up for Florida? Oh, Corey Raymond's going to take all the DBs in Louisiana. Oh, my bad. Remember when you freaked out? Oh, my genitals hurt. Oh. All right. My genitals hurt. That might have been a little extreme. It was funny. That's how it comes off to me. Screw what other dudes are saying. Guys, recruiting's not difficult. Some of you can put context clues together. Have you ever put a puzzle together before? This guy's saying this guy's saying that. That guy that you're talking to, he's full of shit. He's using you to stir up shit so pressure's taken off of him so he can do what he really needs to do. But if you would shut your mouth, let me go full rock. Know your role and shut your mouth and stop gossiping like a common street woman. That's how sourcing works. Shut your mouth. Know your role and shut your mouth. If you smell. Wait, that's not my line. Akon and LG easy. Trying to make it easy. Carter the Power Bryant in 3.5 minutes. It's true. By the way, did y'all see Mike Evans's? I know this isn't the LSU Believe in Saints. I mean, I know this is the LSU and I know we have to Believe in Saints. Did y'all see Mike Evans talking about we hate the Saints? Well, bro, Marcus Lattimore is locking you up more than Akon. I tweeted that today. Convict. Bro, he's making you serve prison sentences during games. Call that coverage Angola. I should have been a rapper, dude. I really believe in a past life I was a poet or a rapper. Like I'm the Bayou's Eminem. I fully believe it. Let's get to a couple of these comments, Zach, before we get to Carter. Paul, again, ripping me about being not being calm. Blake's calm. Mike's not showing the guns, and Buddy's not spicy. No chance. Yeah, Mike Scarborough is going to show off his guns. He goes to the gym. All he does is arms. Do squats, bro. I mean, put your walker, move your walker. Perry Delahousse says, I like that NIL from LSU has been quiet. Don't publicize what you're doing. I agree with that. Ray Powell says, Matt Trent said we were behind in NIL last night. No, he didn't. Well, let me back up. He did. He was being completely facetious. Guys, it was sarcasm. It was sarcasm. Come on, Ray. Complete sarcasm. Danny Thompson says, I've seen another 5-star quarterback out of California today, 2024. True. Jerry says that I've gone full preacher mode and preaching the gospel. There's only one gospel. It's called the 2019 LSU football season. Rico Delgato says it speaks to the fan mentality. If you see another school with success, it's either they're cheating, our team is doing poorly, or both. Fan is short for fanatic. I don't really think, guys, that you could put it in a better way. I don't think you could put it in another way. I'm not gonna put up comments when you're bashing other people that cover this team. Carter. Everybody wants Carter. Nobody wants Blake. Ooh. Hey, I saw that Carter got his jersey signed by Jay Hill. How about that? One of those guys runs a sub 4.7. It's not Jeremy Hill. Jeremy Hill didn't run a sub 4.7. He ran faster. Y'all better stop messing with my boy Carter. All right, let's pay these bills. Let's get to Carter Bryant. Let's talk some LSU football. Hit that like and share. Share it everywhere. Share it to your mama and them. Share it down there in the bayou. Share it up in the 3-1 great. Share it over in the Acadianas. Share it in the 985 in the North Shore. We're going to pay some bills around this thing. Talk about my good friend Carol Falls over at State Farm and my good friends over at Gramco. Carter Bryant in a minute and a half. Guys, you might know my good friend Carol Falls and all the great service that he provides over at State Farm. He is your good neighbor after all. But did you know State Farm has surprisingly great rates as well? Along with the great neighbor service, State Farm agent Carol Falls has surprisingly great rates for everyone inside the state of Louisiana. So call him today at 985-395-4300, 985-395-4300 for all of those surprisingly great rates on auto, home, and life insurance needs. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there, and individual premiums will vary by customer. All applicants subject to the State Farm underwriting requirements. Guys, I've got to talk to you about our good friends over at Gramco. They are the Delta 8 company based out of the state of Florida. They're founded by college football junkies just like you and I am not sure if you're familiar with Delta 8, but you need to be. Gramco is the absolute leader in this field, and they have phenomenal products that I just need to tell you about. First off is the Wake and Bake coffee that is absolutely spectacular. The gummies are as well, as they're the best in the market. So go to thegramco.com right now and use the promo code AYS25. That's thegramco.com, AYS25 promo code to get 25% off of your order. Jump on this fast, as it is perfect for holidays, anniversaries, and everyday use. Gramco is hemp-derived and completely legal inside of the state of Louisiana. No medical card is needed, and shipping is very discreet. You must be 21 years older to order. Again, that's thegramco.com. Use that promo code AYS25. The man, the myth, the legend himself. He was probably drinking tea and eating crumpets because he went to England a couple of months ago. What's up, buddy?
What's up, man? Good to see you. I am happy baseball season is now over. We get football, Blake, right? So I'm not I'm happy when we get football, Blake. But that's why I super chatted a few days ago, because I was really proud of your baseball coverage. Actually, going to Southern Miss, gas prices $9.68 a gallon. I mean, that shows true dedication, and I'm glad you got back all in one piece. I saw some of the controversy and Southern Miss fans acting like Southern Miss fans, but it's good to have you back, Blake.
They were pretty bad. Okay.
Good.
Typical UCF 2019. Or 2018. We won a national title bad. I got to say this. I didn't go as media. I went as a fan, paid for my tickets. I got to be honest. in the bottom of the. I don't agree with you, and I do agree with you at the same time. I'm ready for football. Don't get it twisted. Do not get it twisted. I love baseball. But the bottom of the ninth, bases loaded. Josh Pearson hits a high bouncing ball off the artificial turf, and the Tigers win. I was an arrogant asshole. I got to admit it. I was like, y'all suck. Game over. You're going to lose the regional. I should not have done that. But they were on my ass all game long. So one man stood up to me very quickly. Carter, we're going to get football. One man stood up to me in the ninth and said, "Who do you think that you are?" And I stood up. He's about 5'7". I stood up and like, "Your daddy." So it was a fun weekend.
Yeah,
I didn't talk to me the rest of the day. But
I'm proud of you. Like I saw the Mincy thing, him getting in the face of the Vandy Whistler, and I was thinking, and I was like, I hope Blake doesn't. Because that. But look, man, you're a big dude. I don't think any Brett Favre stands are gonna come after you, man. And
he was there. He was there.
Brett was there.
Yeah, and
Wrangler jeans and all.
Yes, bro. He was wearing Wranglers. He was wearing the Wranglers. I'm not, and I kind of try to mock him. I was maybe a little intoxicated. Maybe I was. Maybe I wasn't. Okay, and I yelled at him, "You're not a role model. You're a jeans model." By the way, apparently he's going through some really weird legal troubles.
Oh yeah.
You know, we'll stay away from that. I did not know, but the lady next to me said it was all. You know, I heard it for 9 innings. You know, so nevertheless. All right, Carter, listen. I know that you keep up with recruiting, okay, right. And I want to talk to you about this. Look, I think it's naive to believe. I know that's a rhyme. I think it was naive to believe that Brian Kelly and Scott Woodward didn't have a plan. I think it was naive to believe that of the combo, and I'm going to throw William Tate IV, the president of the university, along with Scott Woodward and Brian Kelly. I think it's naive to believe that they didn't have a plan. Brother, Kylan Jackson start training at LSU. Dante Moore, there's some very interesting situation there. Desmond Ricks is on campus. Oh, and by the way, Derek Williams drove on over today and did an unofficial visit. Sources. There was always a plan, Carter. I say all this. You've covered LSU for a while. What do you think? What comes off to the dome first?
Yeah, obviously a lot of good recruiting news, especially, the Derek Williams thing, because you worried a little bit about, New Iberia, obviously with Corey Raymond going to Florida and obviously Lewis going to Alabama. So that player in particular, Blake, is someone that does worry you a little bit as an LSU fan. Kayshawn's still on the team, so that's obviously going to help recruiting that kid. But yeah, I mean, it's all good news. And obviously, Dante Moore's the biggest story. And I saw, I believe Roderick asked a question about, Tate, the receiver, potentially
Cornell
joining
Tate,
him.
right.
Yeah. So that's obviously great. Quarterback recruiting is so different, right? This is always something when it comes to like analyzing football that I learned so long ago is every last thing that we know about football, the quarterback position is so different in every which way, how they're treated, how they look at practice, how they're treated at practice, how they're recruited when they commit. And what, the only simple thing as far as like viewers are concerned when it comes to recruiting, because I'm not a recruiting ace. I don't talk to these kids every day. I don't really talk to any recruits at all. Quarterbacks commit earlier than all the other positions because they want to be the only quarterback in that class. Mm-hmm. So always remember that when it comes to recruiting. And I know a lot of people are wondering, well, these quarterbacks, they wouldn't play 2 or 3 years from now and whatnot, and they could transfer and all those different things. True. But keep in mind, only one quarterback a class. And that slot is really valuable because if you don't jump on it, someone else will. So that's the thing. If you take a quarterback, that prevents you from getting other quarterbacks, or if you are a quarterback and you want to really go to school, the clock is ticking a little bit faster. And if you are a Dante Moore to LSU guy or gal watching this is very important to keep in mind that Jaden Rashada coming to at least visit, at least lets other 5-star quarterbacks know that I am not the only 5-star quarterback that's interested in LSU. So that's obviously really good news on all fronts.
So let's stay there and let's talk on that. You're hitting the nail on the head. Quarterbacks commit early, and Carter, they don't flip. I mean, historically, majority of the 5 stars don't flip once they're committed. I don't know how to ask this because I got it in my dome, but I don't know how to necessarily articulate it well, but I'm going to give it a try. Do you think that LSU even being in the running when quarterbacks, it takes about 2 to 3 years to recruit them the way that you do? Do you think that Brian Kelly, even if he doesn't win here with Dante Moore, that it was some kind of a hell of an effort to be able to put up if we're in the top 2? I mean, Carter, brother, 2.5 months ago, we weren't even on the radar. Then a guy by the name of Joe Burrow shows up on his spring game, and they're inseparable.
Right.
Now, that's what I call meticulous from Brian Kelly. But my God, does it feel interesting that you have multiple 5 stars on campus when Orgeron and Les were having to go to the quarterbacks? Now they're coming to you. How big of a difference do you think that makes?
Yeah, so this is kind of a galaxy brain take that I'm about to give.
Okay.
It's not just, those 2 guys. It's DJ Lagway from 2024, right?
Right.
And if you're a baseball fan, apparently, I don't know anything about his baseball
He's
ability.
a two-way guy. Guy.
Yeah, so, I mean, he's obviously a really talented quarterback, really fast. He's a 5-star for 2024. So that's obviously really good, on so many different fronts. It's really, really good. So how those dominoes actually fall, no one really knows, especially now in name, image, and likeness, and quarterbacks know that they're going to get the most money. And this is something else to remember, in particular about Jaden Rashada. Jaden Rashada already has a name, image, and likeness deal now. As a quarterback in California, they're allowed to have name, image, and likeness. And he actually, Coach 30, we all love Coach 30. They're sponsored by the same people. It's an app called the Air app. So it's very interesting, like how different quarterback recruiting has become with the transfer portal, and now some high school players getting name, image, and likeness.
Carter, do you think? Let's transition off the quarterbacks, but I agree because I think we'll have a lot to talk with Dante Moore in the next couple of weeks. We'll see, especially tomorrow if CJ Carr commits to Notre Dame, and
right?
He classifies. Yeah. But let me ask you this: if he does commit, hypothetically, how big is it for Brian Kelly? I mean, does Dante Moore's commitment alone set the precedent for Brian Kelly recruiting him at LSU moving forward?
Yeah, it would be Brian Kelly's best recruit ever, right? Especially if you factor in the context of going to a new school and you're getting someone from the Midwest to come down to Baton Rouge. That would be by far his best recruit. Now, he's had some really good top 100 quarterbacks, not Jimmy Clausen. Jimmy Clausen was a little bit before the BK era, but, he's had some elite quarterbacks and some elite 5-star players overall. But, yeah, Dante Moore would be his best recruit ever. And it would honestly be one of LSU's best recruits ever, period. Right? You look historically, they've only had 2 5-star quarterbacks ever commit to LSU. And that doesn't sound like a lot because it's not. But, of course, there's only a few 5-star quarterbacks every year. And that was, of course, Ryan Perlew and Russell Shepard. So LSU's not had a 5-star quarterback. And really, not many elite quarterbacks. I mean, obviously, Nuss was a top 100 guy. But it would be one of the best recruits in LSU history, knowing their history with 5-star quarterbacks and so many other factors, that Dante Moore would be one of the most impressive hauls ever.
Ant Marshall says, #Ask Blake, what's the word on Rashada? I really believe, Carter, if Dante Moore's in, okay, I really believe that Brian Kelly's going to tell him to go to Notre Dame, A&M or Florida. I fully believe. And look, there's some rumblings that Florida, because of what Tennessee did in recruiting, hint, hint, wink, wink, with the cash that they're throwing around, that they got to make a splash.
Yeah.
I think that they'll throw the book at him. I think they won't Dante Moore, and if they miss, they miss. Okay,
Right.
you
Yeah.
know. So, but I don't think that they will. Um, and also ask #ask Carter, who is the best recruit in the state,
Huh?
and
Huh?
why is it Trey Holly?
North Louisiana, stand up, baby. Let's go. The 3-1 great. The Farmerville, and I know they're Union, but I remember Farmerville when they were the Farmerville Farmers. That is still like the best town nickname combo ever.
Wait. Hold on. You're not joking?
No, and Ant's gonna know more about this than me.
Wait. They were called the Farmerville Farmers.
Yes, yes, for the Farmerville Farmers. And Blake, their high school football atmosphere is the best I have ever been to, ever, period. And it was world class. I actually watched them play U High, like I think like 7 or 8 years ago in a playoff game. Man, it was hostile. It was truly a beautiful thing. But really, though, I do like Trey Holly a lot. You know, once again, he had the best, and I mean the absolute best, most exciting tape of any recruit in this class. I mean, you could just sit and watch it. I don't know why it's so shaky. I would do anything for them to get a tripod because if you watch his highlight tapes,
It's shaky.
it's shaky.
shaky.
Oh
Right,
man,
right.
and I hate it because that's how safeties probably feel trying to tackle that guy. But you know what's very interesting about Trey Holly is the level of competition that gets brought up a lot. He's not the absolute blazing fast back, and he is undersized. So those are all things that are going to be a transition thing for him when he gets there. But he did play Manny, right? Which has like multiple.
And if I'm being a little bit honest, made Tackett Curtis a little bit nervous, if I had to be honest, when they're going 1-on-1.
That game was legendary. Trey Holly put the team on his back, and they pulled that amazing.
Along with Tackett Curtis in the end zone.
Right, and they have the Singleton kid for 2024 is also on Manny. So, man, Trey Holly just always plays his best when all the chips are on the table. Right, he's truly an incredible talent. I don't think because his size, he's not the biggest guy. It'll probably be more year 2, year 3, but that's fine with me. He's obviously really talented with the football in his hands.
Look, I'll get to Jawan Johnson because that's a LCA quarterback, but he was going to play DB. We got a lot of time to talk about that kid. But Dwayne Fisher says, why is Kelly going for out-of-state recruits so much? Carter, I want to talk about this with his philosophy. I think it's his philosophy. We're going to bring every out-of-state kid that we can. We're going to go out, and then we're going to consolidate in. Because I'm going to tell you something that it does from a psychology standpoint. Those kids in the state are like, well, shit, I better get with it.
Right.
Look, I'm telling you, when they're recruiting a 5-star defensive lineman, corner, safety, whatever, why all of a sudden are things starting to pop now? I personally think it's a philosophy thing. Carter, we have multiple kids in the state already starting to lean. Sampson, Jackson. I think here's something funny. Carter, you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
I think Brian Kelly knows what the hell he's doing.
Yeah.
Or no.
Yeah. Well, here's one more thing to keep in mind about those offers is college football recruiting, another major curveball, right? And we made the quarterback thing. Once again, recruiting isn't my number one thing, but this is seismic. I don't know you brought this up as well, Blake. There is no more scholarship limitations per class.
No.
You can sign as many kids as you want. Well, we got a wink.
Well, for the next 2 years, that was the official word from the NCAA.
Yeah. Okay. Still, you can make no.
Carter, I'm 217 pounds.
Let's just say, for whatever reason, Brian Kelly just offers out-of-state guys. You can always go back to the in-state guys because they really do want to play at LSU, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's always going to be there. I also know that they haven't doled out as many official, they haven't got as many official visits as other schools, according to J. Bud Davis. So there's still a lot of room to bring a lot of kids on campus as well. So it's still very early. I understand why some people are concerned about, well, I believe in this 3-star. And I believe, as someone mentioned, Curly Reed a minute ago, I believe we should be working harder to get this player or that player. It's still very early. And I will also say this, the most important thing for any recruit in this cycle is to go out there and win versus Florida State and get the train
No
rolling
doubt.
and give an idea. Now, Blake, if once again, I'm going to be on here again before, high school football starts back up again. I do view Shelton Sampson as a more important recruit than anyone else in this class. I know someone brought up Prian at St. James. He's a really talented receiver, but Shelton Sampson's a real deal. I mean, he's really special. 6'4", great height.
He doesn't have to do anything else for him to be one of the top recruits in the country.
Yeah, he's really good. He's really, really good. So I think he's going to be Terrace Marshall. So that's obviously the number one thing. Get that guy and then build from there. And obviously it's not just a one recruit class, but he is so important because you only got one receiver in the last cycle. So to get a big difference maker like him is absolutely seismic. So if there was a can't miss, there's no such thing as a can't miss, but he's pretty close to it.
I was a can't miss 2-star. Just throwing that out there.
It's
a base rival star rating, but nevertheless. All right, let's move off from recruiting right quick. We got you for a couple more minutes. Mike Jones Jr., joining us in about 7 or 8 minutes.
Love it.
Carter, what are you working on? I mean, I want you to talk about it. I know what you're working on. I'm watching your videos, but what are some things that you're working on and that you could share with our listeners?
Yeah, so obviously, working really hard behind the scenes, reaching out to people like you that know the game really well. I've been studying running backs for the past month, right? Talking to you, talking to Jeremy, talking to other backs that have played at a high level, some that played professionally, some that have played overseas. And, the position's changing so much. And, there's so much pressure on John Emery going into this next season. He's going to be good, right? Like if John Emery does not produce at some level, it would be one of the most shocking non-productive LSU players in history, because overall, if you look historically, and this is just a little snippet of what I'm working on, running backs have a really high floor when they get to LSU. If you stay at LSU 3 or more years, you're more than likely going to be a decent player, whether you're a 5-star or whether you're a 4-star, 3-star.
Clyde Edwards-Helaire, right?
Yeah. So Clyde's obviously someone that turned into an elite player, but let's talk about someone that you're very familiar with and you know way more about, Terrence McGee, right? So let's say Terrence McGee. You won a lot of football games with Terrence McGee running the football. Now, did he make a lot of guys miss? No. Did he burn a lot of guys? No. But he was available. He was healthy. He knew how to pass protect. He knew which holes to run through, right? So that's the key thing. Availability. That is the number one thing when it comes to running back. Now, there are special running backs that truly do transform your offense, like a Fournette, like Clyde Edwards-Helaire, but there's just not that many. So the key to whichever running back is going to be successful behind better offensive line coaching with Brian Kelly, an overall better run scheme, probably with Brian Kelly and Denbrock, is availability. Can you do these small things right? Can you do the mental things right? Because that is half the battle. It really is when it comes to running back. The scheme, the guys blocking in front of you, and obviously, the quarterback play. So that's something I've been looking at, Blake, how important it is to have a special running back. In the grand scheme of things, does a Fournette change your offense? Yes. But those guys just don't exist. That is 1 out of every 50 running backs that play college football that are true needle movers, right? The key thing, though, is they're going to need one of those running backs to break a couple of tackles and make a few plays, but mostly do those little things right.
When you're finished with that, I want to talk about that at length and get you back on the show when we can.
Yeah, for sure, man.
I do want to get this to you, though, and excuse me, guys, before we get out of here, did me and you talk on the show about Mel Kiper Jr.'s
yeah. I think we touched on that about like all the different players that Orgeron lost that are like top, that are first round picks right now, right? Like,
okay,
yeah. We touched on that.
All right.
Let me ask you this, because this was a video I did today on the channel. How do your viewers feel about the schedule? I mean, do they want? Would you be fine with not playing Alabama every year if you know that you're going to play them every other year? This has been the biggest debate on my channel.
Yeah, I haven't really touched on it because, Carter, quite honestly, and I don't mean this in the wrong way, and this is no disrespect to anybody that listens to your show or my show. You put them on the schedule, I really don't give a shit because
There you go.
the truth of it, whether you play them in the regular season or you play them at the end of the season, you gonna play them. Okay,
Right.
So historically, it doesn't really matter where you're playing them. I would honestly, Carter, as history teaches us, to play them during the regular season, because if you find yourself in a situation where you lose that first game, historically, what happens? Alabama, Georgia. Alabama wins the first matchup. Georgia comes back and smacks them. Bad baby. Spanked them like they were on a honeymoon, okay? Same with LSU in 2011. I really don't care. But for me, I want to play the best. As Ric Flair would say, to be the best, you got to beat the best if you want to be the man. I really don't care. I want, though, the 3+, or at least 3+5 or 3+4. I mean, 3+6. Excuse me. My math got mixed up. I like the 3+6. But what about you?
Yeah, so I would say this, right? You're going to play Alabama every other year, right? So the first thing I would say is a 9-game conference schedule is going to be way better for you, the viewer, right? Because you're getting
no doubt
better SEC. All I say is go look at week 13 of this last college football season when you had LSU, ULM, South Alabama. You had so many bad games, right? Mm-hmm. So that to me is like the biggest thing, going to a 9-game conference schedule. But I disagree in that, Alabama normally doesn't lose more than one game, right? And if Nick Saban is even still coaching when all this changes, that's obviously a big thing as well. My thing is, because they only lose one game, if you do beat them in the regular season, when the playoff expands to 12 teams, which it's going to when the conference stretches out to 9 games, Alabama is going to make the playoff every year when it stretches out to 12 teams anyway. So I would want to avoid them as much as I possibly can in the regular season, knowing that you're going to have to rematch them again. But I do, the more I think about it, the more I see that it's not going to matter, because you're going to play so many teams every other year, and that's going to be so much better. I know it's going to be harder. And if you are an Arkansas fan or a Kentucky fan or anybody, I know you would much rather the 8-game conference schedule, but the 9-game conference schedule SEC is going to be so freaking incredible, Blake. Can't wait for it. So we'll see how everything develops, after, these SEC meetings this past week.
We'll have to go in depth. Me and you just need to do like an hour-long show and just
why not?
Talk. Okay, so we'll get that lined up. But you're fantastic. And let me say this before you leave. Nick Saban told Eli Manning that he loves Little Debbie cream pies. And let me just tell you right now, I ain't scared of no man that likes eating cream pies. I'm just going to say that. No pause, no nothing. If you like sticking cream pies in your mouth and it makes you feel good and be a man, then go on ahead. But I ain't scared of that, man. Carter, I love you, brother. We'll see you next week.
I will. And tell Mike, I like that he tweeted out that blitz versus Alabama. He got that sack.
Okay.
He avoided the pass protector. Let him know about that. I love that play. That's one of my favorite plays of his.
Oh, I'm going to let him know. And it's not Mike Jones. It's who? Call him by his biblical name next time.
I will do that. Blake, we'll talk soon, man.
All right. Love you, brother. We'll see you soon. That's Carter the Power Bryant from Power Hour LSU. Let's take a quick break. Mike Jones Jr. joins us next. Guys, let's talk about our good friends over the Drake Williams Law Firm, drakewilliamslawfirm.com. We'll be back in 45 seconds to close it out with Mike Jones. By the Drake Williams Law Firm, drakewilliamslawfirm.com. Whether you've been injured in an accident, you're preparing for a future with your estate planning, you're getting ready to close in on a real estate deal, or you're about to welcome a new addition through adoption into your family, or you're facing criminal charges, you need very experienced attorneys, and that is what the Drake Williams Law Firm will be able to do for you in navigating the legal system. The door to their cozy office in historic downtown Ponchatoula has been open since 1981. They have helped thousands and thousands of Louisiana families and individuals win cases, close on real estate deals, and regain that peace of mind.
Their lawyers over at the Drake Williams Law Firm, Ernie Drake III, Ryan J. Williams, and Summer Vignair, are very determined, compassionate, and dedicated to their craft. It's the Drake Williams Law Firm, drakewilliamslawfirm.com. Give them a call today at 985-386-7600. Tell them your good friend Blake Ruffino with AYS sent you on by.
So let me tell you something. I practice on the weekends, like how you go to practice. I sit here and go, "Who?" Like I gotta get my reps in, bro. I feel
you. When it's time to go, you gotta make sure it's right.
You're right. And look, I don't know, Mike, I'm not going to put you in that situation. I'm not going to put you in that situation. But nevertheless, I'm not sure if you just heard Carter Bryant. Forgive me for my ignorance, but I did see it today. Some account on Twitter posted your sack against Bryce Young. Brother, let me ask you to start this off, man. When you see that, look, I tell you all the time, but you don't believe a brother. But when you see someone that doesn't necessarily have a lot of affiliation with you, maybe they do, maybe they don't. I have no idea. Yeah. But when you do see that, how does that make you feel to know that people put you on the pedestal as one of the great guys in the SEC?
Man, it's a great feeling. But at the same time, I try to stay grounded and just, focus on, this upcoming year. That was a great play, one of a good moment of college football. But I'm ready to build and have a lot more of them this year, So, of course, I'm glad, I'm always be happy when I watch it play. But I'm excited to make a lot more plays like that.
88 days, Mike, until you're back in the Superdome taking on the Florida State Seminoles.
Yes, sir.
So y'all reported you're on campus, you're working out. I will tell you, I don't mean this in any kind of way. You look bigger, you look more physical, you look more lean, but bigger. Coach Jacob Flint, man, getting you ready. I mean, I saw you, I met you about 7 or 8 months ago, but you look a lot bigger, yet leaner. Is he getting you guys ready, bro, or what?
Man, absolutely, man. Absolutely. We got one of the best strength staffs in the country, if not the best strength staff. They're the best to me. And just the way they approach everything, man, I don't know if there's anybody that can, match the level of just the whole overall, just view of the strength program, man. They're nailing it on all cylinders, man. And super, super glad to be able to work with him, man. Blessed to be able to work with him and the whole staff. And we got one of the best strength staffs in the country for sure.
So baseball season, unfortunately, came to an abrupt end this past weekend or Monday. I know that you're not on campus because, summer school and stuff like that. Their kid normally not a lot of people there. Yeah. Are you feeling as Phil Collins would say, are you feeling it in the air tonight that the page is turning around campus? Football talk starting to pick up. I got to be honest, bro. Yeah. I couldn't go to sleep the other night. I was watching y'all versus Bama and then Florida, and I'm like, bro, dude, you know that y'all ran for like 7,000 yards against Florida, but nevertheless, I'm excited. The page is turned. Do you feel that around campus, though?
Absolutely, absolutely. And I don't know if I necessarily stay around campus because, like you said, a lot of people are gone. But right. I know when it's time, when it gets harder, you end up running outside. You outside. Oh, that means it's about time to get ready to play.
Okay.
So I for sure feel it in the air. And I can't wait.
Well, I'll tell you this: it does look like you guys are getting a lot faster, bigger, stronger, and everything. Chris Hilton, the fastest time from all LSU Tigers this past week. The man's moving. Mike, he might run a 4.3. You might need to put what is Mike Jordan do in Space Jam? Like Mike's secret drink. You might, the kids in the SEC might need to have some of that to catch my guy. But shout out to Chris Hilton. Mike, I know around this time, and I don't want you getting too detailed. You're in meetings a lot. You're starting to break down Florida State. You're starting to look at some other teams. When you're around a new staff, though, when you're around a new DC, you've been around Venables, you've been around Dabo, you've been around Orgeron, you've been around a lot of good DCs. Matt House is the one now coming in. Do you see, is everything like a puzzle piece coming together though now? Like do you look at Coach Matt House and be like, hey, look, I remember playing this team a season ago, and they did this in this formation, and you're kind of helping each other out, where he teach you techniques and things on the field, and maybe you help him in the film room on things that you know about the SEC. Are you in that stage right now with Coach House and the staff?
I wouldn't necessarily say that. Coach House, he's the mad genius. He's the mad scientist. So the majority of everything that's going on right now is he's giving me stuff. When we're reinstalling some things, and just picking up on little things. Just really trying to build that foundation. It's a long summer, and sometimes you can rush into things too fast. And I even spoke with Coach House about it, man. And one of the things we're just working on right now is just making sure we're right on us. We don't start getting ready to play until late August. You start game prep, and so making sure we're right. Making sure we're getting all our things done. Because this is a new defense for the whole team, and we're just focusing on us right now, and just with little pieces of, other things, little pieces of Florida State, just little tips and reminders, little things like that, just to pick up on as we continue to just, really lock down on LSU.
We do have some questions firing in here for you, Mike. So we'll get to them at the end. We won't keep you too long tonight because we know.
Real quick. I got a surprise for you.
Oh, I like surprises. What's up, bro?
I got a special guest.
Okay. Who is it?
Mr. GP3 himself.
Okay. Mr. GP3 himself. What's up, my brother?
How you doing?
Doing good. Now, Greg, let me ask you this. Mike texts me all the time. He goes, man, you got to watch out for my guy. He's a beast. Right. Is he, he's looking out for you. But I got to ask you, I asked Mike this a couple of weeks ago. Man, it looks like you and him have a really good connection out there. You're reading off each other. The spring game really showed that. What's it like for you and Mike Jones, who being one another and playing for this LSU defense?
Yeah, it's great right now. I think when Mike first got here, I was an incoming freshman, so Mike being in college, like him, Damone, like I really looked up to those guys and tried to learn as much as I could when I first got on campus. So me and Mike kind of clicked fast. And then this past spring, we got even closer. Like we hang out after practice. Like I'm at his house right now, stuff like that. So we're really close. I think that helps us on the field with communication and stuff like that. I think that's why we've been playing so well together.
I'm not going to say this in public, but Mike Jones Jr. did tell me he could beat you in Madden and in Call of Duty. That's all I know. That's all I know.
Don't let him lie to you.
Well, he, in the words of Mike Jones, I think I wrote it down. He says, "You're Rudy Poo" or something like that. I don't know, Mike. I mean, you were talking trash. I mean, that's what I heard. Rudy Poo. I mean, it's like you're The Rock or something.
Mike hasn't beat me at Madden prior.
Here we go. Listen, hey, Blake, I got some proof for you. We playing right now, and I am the Bucks, and he is the Packers.
Okay.
And we just started, and I open and drive touchdown, 3 and out. You know what I'm saying? We handle business on my side.
Now, I got to ask you one last question. We'll get you guys out of here. I appreciate it. But Greg, you got to throw it to D Adams, though, man. Just throw it up. Just throw it in the general direction.
This game's fake. There's no matchup. If you got a guy like that, there are no real matchups.
It's true. It's true. But, Mike, why you got to get the GOAT? Why you got to hate a Saints fan like that? Why you got to get Tom, man? It hurts my heart, bro.
If you saw how overpowered Green Bay is in this game, there's only one answer. There's only one answer. The cheat code.
Let me tell y'all this very quickly. This is very embarrassing. So I'm playing online a couple weeks ago. I like Green Bay. I like Tampa. I like the Saints. Well, this kid, I think he's like 16 or 17. We're talking back and forth all casual. He gets the Detroit Lions. And I turn my mic off, and I'm like, oh, boy's about to get clapped, dog. He's going down. I lost 59-12. I'm not going to lie. The man beat me. Okay, so listen. I don't know if Jared Goff took steroids in the offseason, but the kid threw like 17 touchdowns on me. It was ridiculous. And I consider myself really good. So if you think you're good at Madden, there's a 16-year-old in a basement that's better than you. I promise you that.
I know it, man. Trust me, I have my struggles with Madden. That's why I can only play it once a month.
Well, play linebacker, run a cover 2, and you'll never lose. That's all I'm saying.
They find a way, man. They'll find a way to mess me up, man. They'll find a way. I can have Bobby Wagner here. Anybody getting scored on when I'm playing defense.
Mike, you just don't know what you're doing.
Hey, let me ask y'all something I said last question one question ago, but you talked about the Rams, would made me think about this.
Mhm.
Jalen Ramsey getting all that guaranteed money, Aaron Donald getting the guaranteed money. Guys, I think football's moving in a different direction. I know y'all are in college, but y'all got to be paying attention to stuff like that, though, Mike. I mean, I know that Jalen Ramsey talks about it a lot. I mean, what do y'all think about NFL moving to doing this for a lot of players with a lot of this guaranteed money?
I can say for myself, it's very exciting.
Because you're not coming back, Mike? Is that what you're saying? Oh wait, my bad. You've been here since 1996. Anyway.
I know that.
But for real though, how does it make you feel when you see that? I mean, it's got to make you feel good about what the league's doing.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Just like at the spot I'm at now, man, like just thinking about all the time and effort put into getting to where we are now, man. It's a lot. It really is. And you got to really be dedicated to really play this game. And I know it even takes another level of dedication to play it at the next level. And to see guys get paid like that, man, it's awesome. It's motivating, but them guys deserve it too, man. They work their tail off, and they go and compete at the highest level. And so glad for them guys. One day I would love to be blessed with a contract like that. That's generational wealth. And
absolutely.
So yeah, man, it's really exciting, man.
Well, look, the studio is about to be complete. I need to get you and Greg over to the studio, and we'll play. We'll
Yes,
live.
sir.
I mean, look, y'all gonna win, but just don't get win. Like get Lamar, right? Like get Lamar, make me look bad. Please don't get the Lions and make me look bad. But guys, I appreciate it, Mike. I appreciate it. We'll talk to y'all soon.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you, man.
All right, that's Mike Jones Jr. and Greg Penn III. We'll see you guys. It's been a great episode, man. We appreciate those. Carter the Power Bryant, Mike Jones Jr., and Greg Penn III. That was a very, very, very I didn't know that. I didn't know that GP3 was showing up, but I like it. GP3. GP3. All right, let's do this. Let me talk about my good friend Richie Roche over at Roche's Lawn and Landscape, 225-937-7220. It's 225-937-7220. Let him know that your good friend Blake Ruffino sent you on by when you call. Guys, you need your lawn mowed. You want some landscaping around the house. Me and Megan, my wife, just did ours at our house. They were professional, quick, clean up. Everything was precise and done perfectly. Again, that's Richie Roche over at Roche's Lawn and Landscape, 225-937-7220. Let them know I sent you on by. All right, guys. Great night, great episode. Zach, we're running a little bit late, so my apologies. We will see you guys again tomorrow. We might bring Pooh Bear and Zach on to the show eventually. It's just been a long week. See y'all soon. Y'all have a good night. Peace out, Go Scouts.